Well, that may well be the case, Martin, but the question is will it be enough to sway voters who may well at the moment be intending to vote Labour in the next general election? Would this issue alone be enough for them to vote Conservative? And I think the only way we can really see any evidence of that is if we see polls in the not too distant future and the Tories have a bounce. Then you can draw that connection. Of course, I think that when it comes to net zero, I wouldn't say it's actually a significant change as such. It's more of a softening of existing commitments on the net zero front. But in terms of will it be enough for the Conservatives to make a fundamental shift in the polls, I think that very much remains to be seen, Martin, because I still think while the environment is important and net zero may be important for some voters, I still very much will be the bread and butter when it comes to cost of living, housing and healthcare. I still think that's going to dominate our broader national political discourse.
OK, Donica, you must have been dismayed when Rishi made this announcement.
Yeah, well, the idea that actually as the United Nations is meeting in New York to discuss how we collectively internationally tackle the climate emergency and the terrible summer of climate extremes we've had, to have the UK Prime Minister go on TV announce that we're rowing back on climate change is absolutely staggering. However, I think both of us, all three of us should agree that actually the cost should not fall on poorer people. And what we need to look at is in the detail of the announcements Rishi announced this week are hammering the poor in many ways. The abolition of the requirement for landlords to invest in insulation will cost tenants £8 billion over the coming decade. The already existing cuts that Rishi imposed on homeowners' insulation will cost us £10 billion. And there's another £2 billion to go on to homeowners' electricity bills because the government screwed up the wind auction last week. So on issue after issue, what actually Rishi is doing is piling costs on poorer people, whilst actually trying to throw some red meat to the base.